Bro, oh my god, my heart is beating so fast. This is because of adrenaline. Adrenaline is a type of signaling molecule that speeds up your heart rate. Let's look at this pathway more in detail.
Adrenaline is polar and hydrophilic. Since it cannot cross the cell membrane, it will bind to a receptor on the outside of the cell in the cell membrane.
GPCRs, or gene protein coupled receptors, allow cells to detect signals like hormones and neurotransmitters. When a signaling molecule or ligand binds to the receptor, this GPCR changes shape and triggers responses inside the cell using second messengers.
Sub-advantages are that it is fast-acting and has an amplifying effect. The release of adrenaline can trigger a lot of responses in different parts of the body. Some cons are that mutations and errors can arise during the pathway.
The ligand, adrenaline, binds to a receptor on the cell membrane. The receptor then activates the G protein, which activates an enzyme. The enzyme makes a second messenger, cyclic AMP, which the cell responds by increasing the heart rate.
The players are the stimulus, signaling molecule, receptor, and intracellular molecules. The stimulus can be triggered from a stressful situation, fear, or excitement. The receptors are the G protein coupled receptors on the heart muscles. The signaling molecule is adrenaline. The intracellular molecule include G protein, adenylate cyclase, which is an enzyme, cyclic AMP, which is a secondary messenger that transmits signals to the cell interior, protein kinase A, and finally calcium channels, a protein in the cell membrane that allows calcium ions to pass through.
First, adrenaline is released into the bloodstream via the adrenal glands. The adrenaline will bind to the GPCRs on the hearts. The receptor will then activate the G protein inside the cell, causing GDP to be exchanged for GTP when activating the A subunit of the G protein. This activates adenylate cyclase, an enzyme that converts ATP into cyclic AMP, a second messenger. From there, a cyclic AMP activates pKa, which opens the calcium channels and let more Ca2+ in. The influx of calcium speeds up the heart contractions. That's why your heart beats faster when you're scared.
The intended response is a stronger and faster heart rate. This will pump blood throughout the body to ensure that all parts have sufficient oxygen and glucose.
Once a person is out of a stressful situation, adrenaline will terminate. The signaling molecule will be broken off by enzymes. The cyclic AMP is also degraded, and G protein turns back into GDP.
Adrenaline comes from the adrenal glands in the body. Adrenaline kickstarts the entire process of an increase in heart rate. If adrenaline was released when you are not stressed, this could be drastic as your body would not be able to handle the constant stress. Beta blockers are antagonists that block the binding of the adrenaline signaling molecules. They are typically prescribed for hypertension and heart disease. Thus, adrenaline cannot stimulate the G-coupled protein receptors and allow calcium ions in, and your heart rate does not spike. This could be bad if you need to run from a threat and don't have adrenaline pumping through you to give you energy.
Adrenaline is both exogenous and endogenous. Our bodies can produce it by itself, so it is endogenous in that aspect. You can also get adrenaline externally from EpiPens, which are administered during severe allergic reactions. The adrenaline will increase heart rate and open up the airways, which helps with allergic reactions. Now that's why your heart rate speeds up. Next time your heart is pounding in your chest, think adrenaline and those calcium ions.
Thank you for watching!